For everybody that's here, welcome. My name's Jeff Zay. I'm the Adult Programming Coordinator at the Port Washington Library. We're glad you were able to join us tonight. Just some quick housekeeping. Basically, I'm going to keep everybody muted while Cynthia gives her presentation, but we are going to have time for Q&A at the end. Hopefully, you're a little familiar with Zoom. But if you do move your mouse towards the bottom of your screen, there is a chat button. Feel free to use the chat. If you have a question or some technical issue or something while Cynthia is giving her presentation, that way it doesn't interrupt her presentation. And then as I said, at the end, we're going to go ahead and open it up to Q&A. There is also, let's see, a participants tab at the bottom that's also going to allow you to raise your hand or things like that. So if that's something, we're just going to try to keep the flow of the presentation going. But we're very lucky that we have Cynthia Braun with us. She's certainly an expert on organizing your home office. This is certainly a really key time and a timely topic. So I do want to let you know a little bit more about her, and then I'm going to turn it over to Cynthia. So Organize Your Life is a company that Cynthia started in 2002. However, she's been organizing people's homes and offices since she was a young girl. She's been written about in Newsday, New York Magazine, Women's Day, and has been a featured speaker on WLIE and WALK radio. After receiving her MBA degree from Adelphi University, she attended the Metropolitan School of Interior Design. She now organizes with design in mind. Being intrigued with how Feng Shui relates to organizing, she is now a red ribbon professional Feng Shui practitioner. Cynthia now specializes in decoratively uncluttering rooms in a home and invisibly incorporating a home's possessions into one's living space while still being very functional. Once clients have been organized, the need for a new paint color, re-accessorizing, rehanging pictures, space planning, lighting, and furniture placement or other usage becomes more obvious. Rather than throwing out the old and buying everything new, she can show how to inexpensively use what you have in a better way. Just letting someone else in here. Sometimes even fixing the item and changing the functionality. Her desire to help others, simplify their lives and reach their personal or career goals drives her as a certified professional organizer. She combines her hands-on organizational skills with compassion, neutrality, confidentiality, and humor in order to guide her clients to a peaceful and productive life. Cynthia imparts structure and process while keeping her clients focused so they are not overwhelmed with the whole project. She strives for maintainable real-life custom solutions for her clients' organizational needs. Organize Your Life creates organization systems in kitchens, home offices, garages, basements, attics, bedrooms, nurseries, playrooms, bathrooms, and craft, sewing, and hobby rooms. She specializes in space organizing in closets, cabinets, drawers, file systems, and storage systems. She has a lot of experience with photographs and memorabilia too. She is also a professional scrapbooker and can show or do scrapbooks for clients who want to keep their memories viewable. Cynthia is a Golden Circle member of the National Association of Professional Organizers and certified member of the Board of Certified Professional Organizers. She is the founding member of Professional Organizers of Long Island, also the founding member and current president of the Long Island chapter for International Feng Shui Guild. So please welcome Cynthia. And for those who have just joined, I'm going to mute everyone, but you can use the chat function at the bottom if need be. And then we're going to open it up to question Q&A at the end. So I'll turn it over to you, Cynthia.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Denise, for having me. I'm very excited to be here tonight. In 3 weeks, I haven't gotten dressed or put makeup on and did my hair, so this is a first. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy it. To do organizing your home office, so I kind of tweaked it a little bit during this terrible COVID-19 time. So hopefully you'll learn something new and you'll be able to apply it in your home office, since we're all stuck at home now and we need to make the best out of it. So here we go. Okay. So the first thing is people always say, why be organized? Okay, it's very important. Organization helps reduce anxiety. It's been well known. You could see by the picture there, that is actually one of my clients that I worked with who had an office like that. And she had so much anxiety every time she went in there every morning. So we basically got it very organized for her, and she's really, really happy, and she has no more anxiety. So it's very important to relieve that anxiety, especially we have so much anxiety now during this horrible time. Another reason why you want to be organized is that you function much more efficiently. You're much more productive because things are where they're supposed to be, and you don't waste time looking for things. A lot of times people say to me, I can't find anything. Everything is like all over the place and they don't know where to begin. So the whole idea is to have a very functional office so you could be very efficient and productive. Obviously, tasks are easier to manage if everything is in its place. If the copy machine paper is available when you need it, when the envelopes are where they're supposed to be, your stapler, all the things that you need to have in a home office. Also to be more comfortable. It's very important because we spend so many hours in the day, especially now more than ever, working at our desks because we're not doing the commute. So I'm finding even my husband and my son who are working from home from the company, they're not commuting, but they're spending that hour or half hour working at their desk instead of the commute. So it's very important that make your office comfortable. So that's where the interior design comes into play, where you color-wise, light-wise, and we'll get more into that later on. Obviously, to have a more attractive professional office, I always believe that when you are in a happy place, you tend to want to be there. Many people tell me that they can't wait to go to their home office after I work with them because they're so much more relaxed, they're functioning better, they have no more stress, they have no more anxiety. So being like a professional, feeling like a professional in office, it feels very important. I even know that people get dressed up, even if they're not going anywhere, they still feel they need to get dressed up, especially if they do Zoom. Also, you're more productive and you have more control of your items. When your productivity is up, you obviously are producing much better and obviously will do a lot more. And now the big thing is distractions. I hear a lot of this with kids being home, being homeschooled, and pets being around, the dogs and the cats, they're not used to you always being around. They jump on your lap. You have to try to eliminate distractions when you're not doing something alone, whether you're on the phone or if you're on a Zoom or a Skype. So, it's good to have a door in your room and be able to lock it possibly and tell the kids, mom and dad, we're working now, we can't be disturbed. So having a door, it makes it easier to hold back the noise that they might make. I mean, pets could stay in the room as long as they're quiet. I know a lot of people that work with their cats, they feel very happy, they feel more comfortable. That's fine, as long as they're not a distraction. Okay, go to the next slide. Okay, so obviously now is a big time where we have to clean, constantly clean, right? We don't want to get COVID. So every morning I tell, and I do it myself, and my husband does it, and my son and my daughter who all work from home, you have to clean the area in your office. You clean the keyboard. I use alcohol with a cotton swab. Spray the Lysol in all the areas, especially if you have fabric chairs. Spray the telephone. Also wipe your cell phone, your laptop, your screen with alcohol. Obviously, it has to be over 65%. And then you see this soap there. Obviously, it has to be antibacterial soap to wash your hands. If you have a bathroom nearby, it's always good to wash your hands, better than the Purell. But if you don't have a chance, in between, every couple of hours, use the Purell to clean. It's very, very important that you make sure you disinfect the areas, especially the things that you use the most. Even my mouse and my mouse pad, I do it every morning and every night before and after I work. So this way, everything's clean and I feel safe. I don't have Lysol wipes on there or Clorox wipes because I ran out already. So these are actually pictures of my items that I have in my house that I use. But there are plenty of items. If you can't get to the store, Amazon, you order online. A lot of things are now available. I know the stores were out of a lot of things, but I'm finding now more and more people are able to get these items. Also the doorknobs. Don't forget to spray your doorknob going into your office, especially if you close it and open it a lot. You want to make sure that doorknob is also disinfected, okay? Even a light switch, if you have a ceiling fan in the office or a lamp, make sure you spray or wipe down the area that you touch every day. This screen is brand new. I never had to have it, but because of COVID, it's very, very important to do. Okay, so where do we begin? All right, obviously we talked already about disinfect the area before you start. Realize that you need a space for your computer and your keyboard, whether it's a laptop or a desktop. You want to make sure that you're comfortable sitting at the keyboard, at the computer, and especially your monitor. You need a place to read. Sometimes you have to read. Some people have to review items and read papers. So make sure there's a place for you to read, that the desk is not so full of things. A place to write. Yeah, some people still write. I still write thank you letters to my clients after I work with them. A place to handle incoming and outgoing mail. Very, very important because you know that doesn't end. A place for your phone, a place where you could talk on the phone. Now, I always tell people if you are a righty, you should have the phone on the right side of your desk. If you're a lefty, have the phone on the left side. Okay, even if it's a cell phone or a cordless phone, it's just easier because that's the phone that you grab. And then obviously equipment needed if you have a copier or even if you do some faxes still, printer, make sure you have that equipment in the room to make it easy for you to get it. Also, the big issue is place to store things. Where do you store your files? Where do you store your forms, your reference books, and general office supplies, okay? You need to have some kind of file cabinet, maybe some kind of bookshelf, or maybe a closet to keep things in. That is actually a picture on the right of my office, which is exactly where I'm sitting. I have a very comfortable chair. The box on the right has my phone in it. The monitor you see is front. And on the left is a lamp because I have reading light. And then above me here, I have a ceiling fan. And when it gets hot, I turn the ceiling fan on because sometimes the computer will generate heat and it'll get warm in the office. Basics needed. So obviously you need a desk or a table. Some people have extra tables to do projects if they have to spread out. But that's your primary space. That's where you're going to spend the most time. So you want to make sure that everything is accessible at your desk. Okay, so you have a comfortable chair. I prefer a wheelchair because you're constantly going in and out of the desk. A file cabinet, whether it's vertical or horizontal, you need to have a place to keep your papers. And we'll get more into that later. A desk with a drawer which has a file for your daily, or you could have a desktop file holder. Those are files that you go to all the time, so you don't have to get up and go to the file cabinet. And that's going to be dictated by what you do on a daily basis. Like in my desk drawer, I have my current clients that I have scheduled and projects that I'm working on. A storage closet also is very important, or bookshelves, because a lot of people have supplies and awards and memorabilia, things that they want to have displayed. I tell people in their office they should have any kind of display items that make them happy, whether it's a picture of your family or your pet or your children. I have framed on my walls. I have, when I was in Newsday several times, so I have them framed and hanging in my walls. A place for your printer, copier, or phone. Obviously, you don't always have room on the desk to put a copier or printer, so I have an extra table on the side of my desk for the printer and copier. Shelves also are good for reference materials and books, so things that you need to get to all the time. I have a lot of medical people that I organize, and they are always referring to their medical journals or their reference journals, so they have to be very accessible, things that you go to all the time. I always tell people we don't dig. We're not dogs. We don't dig for our stuff. So everything that you need on a regular basis should really be very, very accessible. And last but not least, a recharging station for your iPad, your laptop, your cell phone, or anything else that you need to be charged. You should have one dedicated place so you're not looking all over the house for your iPad or your laptop or your cell phone. A lot of people waste time looking for these things. So I have it right on my desk here with a, you can see mine right here. I have a little thing that holds it. I'm not charging my iPad. My iPad is here, but that would also be plugged in to this. So let's go to the next slide. So correct lighting. Now this is very important because people are doing a lot of Zoom and Discord and Skyping and Google Hangouts and FaceTime. So ambient lighting is lighting that's not too bright. So when you want to read, so a desk lamp would be really good for reading, okay? Versus task lighting, which is overhead lighting, which is good for writing and looking at the computer. But you don't want to get a glare, so you have to be very careful. And the most important thing is that when you want conference lighting, so when the camera's on you during a meeting, you want the light in front of you. As you could see, the picture on top is incorrect lighting. The person's lighting is behind them, and you cannot see the person's face. So it's very important when you are in a meeting for Zoom or Google or Skype or whatever, that the light is in front of you. I'm lucky enough that I have a window in front of me too. So if you have a window, that's great too. The window should be in front of you, not behind you. And also the light above you could be on. I have my light above me on and my lamp now because obviously it's getting dark and the light from the window is not coming through. So it's very important. And I could see some people already have too much light or don't have enough light on their on their screen right now. So it's something to think about because, you know, people like to see people. I'm hoping you could see me pretty good. It looks like I can be seen. I'm wearing pink, my usual color. Okay, so office supplies. Obviously a computer, whether it's a laptop or it's an iPad that you work on or a desktop. I still use a desktop. I find it much easier to type on. A cell or a landline phone. I have both. I have a cell phone and a landline phone, but my landline phone is cordless. You need tape and a stapler. So here are mine. They're right on my desk. I have pretty ones. I always tell people get pretty ones because this is what you can look at all the time and use. So have tape and a stapler at all times. Hanging folders, we'll get more into filing later, but everybody knows hanging folders are the folders that go into the file cabinet. And then the file folders, as you can see, there's one already displayed in the picture, the one that says organize. Those, we used to call them manila folders. They don't have to be manila, they could be any color. I always tell people, get the color that you like. I happen to like those folders because they say organize on them. But you can get all kinds of different colors and pictures on them and bright colors that make you happy. Tabs, those are the plastic tabs that go on the hanging folders, so you could find them easily in the hanging folders, and you'll see that later in the next slide. Also a inbox, which is the one on the right. That's my inbox, but some people have plastic ones. Staples sells all different types of inboxes. So I know when something's in there that needs to be attended. So if I get my mail, I put it in the inbox, and then I know that's what I have to do. That dictates what I do on a daily basis. And then the good old label maker. I always have a label maker when I go to my clients, and most of the time they end up buying one. There's all kinds of that, all kinds of different ones. That's the one I use. The one on the upper right there is a label maker. And the one on the upper left is just a small office that we converted. It was actually a closet. So you don't need a lot of space. You just need an area to keep your stuff. So you could see by looking at that desk, it's just really a table with bins above it and the supplies that she needs to work in her business. So that made it much easier for her. Okay. Okay. I always tell people, you got to have water and you got to have munchies. And you could see some people have their dogs or cats, and I have little snacks for the dogs and cats too. It's always good to have something, you know, getting up and walking around, maybe take a little break, have a little snack, have it available for you. When I go to a lot of offices that are in buildings, a lot of people have this kind of stuff too, but it's okay to have it at home also. You don't have to walk down to the kitchen to get your goodies when you need one, especially if you need some sugar. Some people use plastic drawer storages. I'm sure you've seen them. They sell them in Target and Walmart and Home Depot and Lowe's. And sometimes people have businesses where they have extra supplies that they don't want to put in a closet or on the shelf. So we get one of these, and obviously you could see how it's labeled, so they know exactly what's inside. Some people go through a lot of batteries. That's a big thing with my clients. I make a drawer just for batteries, so they know where their batteries are. But you could use this for anything, really. business cards, any kind of supply you use in your business. Thank you cards. I actually have my thank you cards in my drawer here. But if you don't have drawers, some people don't have drawers in their desk, they can have something like this, which is a very inexpensive way of doing it. Storage in a closet. Okay, so these are nice bins, and I do recommend them. They sell them everywhere, and they have a cover. And the reason why it's good to have something with a cover is so things inside do not get dusty. So business cards and flyers and sticky notes and things that you have a tremendous amount, because I have a lot of clients with lots of pens and pencils, erasers. A lot of my teachers, they like to have a lot of that stuff, extra staplers, extra folders. So we use a lot of these, so this way it doesn't get dusty. We want to keep the things dust free. And then you could see in the front there, you could actually personalize it and actually label what's inside. I actually have one here, I'll show you. This is my box. I don't know if you could see, but it says holiday cards. So I have a holiday card box that I keep in because I always have extra from the year before, and I try to use them up every year. Okay, so now, issues with paper. Most people call me because they have an issue with their papers. So the first thing you have to have is a good file cabinet with strong hanging and file folders. So when I say a good file cabinet, nothing that's been in the garage or the basement that's rusted away, that's hard to open and close the drawers. You want it very easy to open and close the drawers because you're going to open them a lot. And now the file cabinets don't have those frames anymore, like the one showed here. This was actually a young girl's room, and she didn't have room for a file cabinet, so this is just a file basket. But you see the frame in there? They are usually always in the old file cabinets, but the new file cabinets now have an edge where the files just go right on. So it's a lot less work to set it up. Years ago when I first started my business, I was constantly buying those frames and putting them in file cabinets because people didn't have the frames to hang the file folders, the hanging folders. You must have an area where you can move your hanging folders back and forth in order to get to your paper. If they're very, very tight, you're not going to be able to get to the papers easily. And that's very, very important. That's a lot of wasted time. Also, you want to keep your system simple. And every time you put a piece of paper in, you really should look and see if there's anything that can be purged from their files. Because the biggest problem people have is they're constantly putting file papers in their files, but they never take things out. I know clients that say, okay, at the end of the year, I'm going to purge my files. Well, I purge my files all year round, so I don't have to spend a day purging my files. So to have a file that's not needed, you just can throw it out as long as it doesn't have your social security number on it, your bank account number on it, or your credit card number. Those are the three main things that you need to shred. Anything else you could just throw in the garbage. People always like, oh, I thought I had to shred everything. You don't have to shred everything. Your address, your phone number is all over the internet. It's well known what it is, so you don't have to worry about that. People have magazines. You can put them right in the recycle. If you want to just tear off the area where it has your name and address and throw it in different garbage, that's fine. I've seen where they recycle the paper. Everything gets very wet. It goes into this big vat. It gets very wet, and nobody can read anything. So that's about purging. And just so you know, staples, if you don't have a file, if you don't have a shredder, you could always bring it to Staples. And there's plenty of other shredding companies. There are a list of them are on my website if you want to have somebody come in and shred everything, but it's not needed. So file needs. So basically you have 4 categories that you need to file. You have your work papers, your financial papers, your personal papers, and your home papers. So usually what I do with clients is that each drawer is one of those categories. It makes it easy for them to know exactly where those papers are. And I always say, if you can't find a paper in 30 seconds or less, your system has failed you. And that's where I spend a majority of my time organizing, is developing a file system for people so they can find their papers in 30 seconds or less. You can color code it for different categories. Some people like to make their work one color. Financial, usually people like to go with green. Personal, their favorite color, and home file could be the color of your home. So if you have a yellow home, you could have yellow folders. Just a suggestion, you don't have to. I just don't like those green, those dark, ugly green ones that people had for years and years and years. Okay, so aligned file tabs. So if you look at the picture here on the right, you'll see that most of the file tabs are on the left side. And we're going to get more into that, but I just wanted to show you what aligning is. Because they did a lot of studies where they don't want that zigzag anymore, because it makes people dizzy. And then when you add a file in there, it's not going to form that zigzag still. So it's always better to have A-line file, which is in one direction. And then obviously labels on the file tabs, those plastic tabs, with a label maker. Now we'll get more into the A-line filing. So A-line filing on this one too is left justified. So you could have it right justified where they're all on the right side, or you could have center justified. It all depends on where your file cabinet is and where you prefer. Some people that are righties like to have it on the right side. Some people that are lefties like it on the left side. It really all depends. Just make them all the same to make it easy for your eye to go. Alphabetical order, you should always have every file drawer should be in alphabetical order. Okay, so this is a file drawer, I believe that's a home file. So you could see the first file there, it says appliances. And then the next one was basement. And then computer. And then electronics. I can't read the other ones, but you could see that it's in order. So this way, when you're looking for something, everybody always remembers their alphabet. They know where things are. And then I want to just talk about file folders. Now, file folders go in the hanging folders. The one that's organized, only if you have more than one category in a file, in a hanging folder. For instance, I always do, in a personal file, I do cars. So people have cars. So I'll write, not the type of car, I'll just write the person's name. So if the woman has a car, because you're always leasing and you're getting new cars, so you don't have to redo the file. So that, say the woman has a Nissan. So she'll just have mine says Cynthia, and my husband's car is in Alan, and my son's car is in Jared. So everybody just has a folder with their name on it in a hanging folder. But I have 3 file folders. So this way, when they get a new car, we just take out those papers and put the new ones in. So this way you're not always making new file folders, because that takes a lot of time. So just keep it simple. Now, box bottom folders, I don't know if anybody knows about box bottom folders, but box bottom folders are hanging folders, but they're just wider. They hold a lot more. So if you have a large amount in a particular category, that would be used for box bottom. And my tip for that is when you buy the box bottom, they come with this cardboard that I tell people tape it in. Not just put it under the tab to keep it in place, but tape it in the bottom so it'll keep it much better. This way, it doesn't get all crunched up. Okay, some organizing products that I suggest to clients. Obviously, hanging folders. I always tell people get some color. Mine are all pink. Anybody who knows me how much I love pink. And box bottom folders, they don't come in so many colors. A lot of them are just blue for some reason. And then file folders, like you saw the other one I had that had the name organized on it. But you can get anything with flowers, stripes. You can go online and order any kind of file folder. I always tell people, when you take that file folder out of your drawer, it should make you happy. So get something that makes you happy. Those manila folders are so boring. You know, invest in it. And if you get good ones, they last a long time. Canvas bins and containers are also good to have when you're storing things. You could see there's a whole bunch of different colors on the upper picture there. That was taken at the Container Store. I don't know if everybody knows about it, but we do have a wonderful store called the Container Store on Old Country Road in Carl Place, and they have a ton of organizing products. And they have every color you can imagine, file cabinets, bins, you name it. Drawer organizers and dividers. So drawer organizers is that clear one that's on the right side on the bottom. It's square, but they make all different sizes. They have long, thin ones for pencils and pens. They have square ones. They have oblong ones, and they fit in a drawer. So if you're looking to organize, I can't show you my drawer, but one of my drawers has all like my pens, my pencils, my my scissor, my whiteout, my password book. So it organizes in a drawer. So this way, I'm not shuffling through the drawer to try to find these items. I know exactly, I can close my eyes and reach for them and get them, because you don't want to spend time, again, wasting time finding things. Shelf dividers. If you look at the second one on the left, you see a bin there, and then you see a clear plastic thing that's vertical. Those are shelf dividers. So if you want to store something in the closet and you need it to be divided, that's a great way. The Lucite, you can see through them and they stay really good. They also make them for the ClosetMate systems that go into the white racks. I like these the best though, because they're clear and you could see through them, and they really do well. I use a lot of them, especially when I organize clothing in closets. Plastic bins with covers. That's, again, it's up to you what you like. I like to use a lot of fabric boxes, but the plastic bins, if you have a lot of things, like if you want to use clear shoe boxes, they sell them in Bed Bath & Beyond for like a box of 10 for $10. You could have a bunch of little clear boxes with covers, and you could put different things in them as long as you label it. When I do a lot of scrapbook rooms, a lot of people have a lot of little embellishments, so I'll put them in the different plastic bins and then put them in the closet. Baskets and trays are good. The only thing is I would try to stay away from round baskets. Square holds a lot more and it's much easier to store. You could see down here that somebody needed a place for their hand towels, and we just hung the basket on the wall and put the towels in there. This was for a spa that I organized. Self-adhesive labels, you know, you could buy them in Staples to put labels on anything, the bins. It doesn't always have to be done with a label maker, because the self-adhesive labels are larger. So if you have those plastic large bins or even the small canvas bins, you can get different sizes. But label everything, because this way you don't have to guess where anything is. I'm very big on labels. In fact, a lot of my clients says this is wonderful when they see all the labels. And I tell them they could always take it off. They're always removable. But you know what they all say? I like to keep them on. I don't have to guess, and it makes my life easier. And last but not least is magazine holders. Some people still do get magazine holders. And as you can see on the upper right there is a magazine holder that actually was in my daughter's room. We got that in IKEA. They were unpainted and repainted it. And she keeps her art magazines in there because she's an artist. So how do we maintain organization after we get all the stuff and we have it in our office? And once you organize, you always want to make sure you set goals and priorities. Tell yourself at the end of the day not to leave the desk full of papers. Put them away, put them in the file, put them in the drawer, whatever has to be done. Put them in your to-do box. So this way, when you walk into the office in the beginning of the day, it's not overwhelming with all kinds of stuff everywhere. Plan and schedule your time. You know, schedule when you're going to do certain things. I schedule when I do phone calls to clients. I schedule when I'm going to go to my yoga class. I plan everything to the T. You know, we only have so much time in the day, and it's very important that you adhere to a schedule. Even with this COVID-19, even though I'm not reporting to clients, because I'm not going to go to clients' houses during this, I still get up in the morning, I go downstairs and work out, and then I go on the email, I take care of my phone calls, and then from there, you know, just schedule what needs to be done. Put everything in its place. It's an acronym that we all use as organizers. Place, as you see, is P is for purge excess. When you put stuff in a file drawer, purge it. Put like items with like items. Accessibility is key. Make sure everything is accessible to you, that you can reach. Like a lot of times people have closets with shelves all the way on the top and they can't reach them. Well, you either get a step stool and keep it near the closet, or just don't put anything on top of the closet, on the high, you know, shelves. Containment, make sure everything is in a bin or a container or somewhere, so this way it doesn't spread. I find a lot of times when people have closets and they have shelves, everything's just all over the place on the shelf. And things fall down and then they get dirty and then they get all mixed up. So it's very important to contain your things. So when I work with people, we just take everything out and we start organizing by category and sort it and put it in whatever needs to be put in, depending on what you like. Also, make changes, and also evaluate your needs. A lot of times, you know, things change over time. And if you don't need it anymore, get rid of it. I'm all about, if you don't use it, lose it, okay? Some people have things in there. I find phones with cords in closets. And I'm like, why you have this phone with a cord? And it's just in case the phone breaks. And I said, isn't that ridiculous? You're not going to use a phone with a cord. So they get rid of it. Really be realistic with your lifestyle. Also, make changes as job roles and duties change. Obviously, with our jobs, we have different duties and roles as time goes on. And we have to make changes as it goes along. When I was in corporate, I was constantly given new opportunities to do different things, and I had to rearrange whatever I had to rearrange to make it easy for me to do my job, to make it accessible. I got new clients. I had to make more room for clients in my drawers, or whatever it is. Always take that in as a good thing. Change is good. And most importantly, believe it or not, is making sure the temperature is comfortable. Like I said before, your computer generates a lot of heat. So a lot of times you need to maybe open the window or put on a ceiling fan if you have one. It's important that you're comfortable, that you don't get hot. It's very, very important that you're comfortable in your office, because the more comfortable you are, the more you will get done. Okay, so this is my conclusion. I want to thank you for your time. It's very odd because usually when I'm in the library, people ask questions as we go, but I will take questions now. I always tell people, try doing it yourself, but if you need help, I'm always available once this COVID is over. And if you need any more information, you could always just email me. My email's there, my phone number's there, and I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has at this point. And thank you again.